that. First thing is self-awareness. So now we will try to know yourself better. Especially on one point, what is your estrogen type? You have estrogen, but there are several types of persons. You're women, but you're not the same. Okay? So for that, we'd like you to answer these three questions. Don't tell me the answers. don't need to know. It's quite private questions. You don't need a paper. I think three questions in your mind would be okay. So first, what kind of one thing? If you are menopause, you're concerned as well, because the girl you were influences the woman you are and the lady you will be or you are. So play the game and answer this question even if you don't have any more cycle. So when you were a teenager, what kind of girl you were? Rather short, voluptuous, early breast, full breast? Then you're probably type 1. There will be three types. Then if you were at the opposite, tall, skinny, guy looking, you're probably type 2. If you're in between, you're type 3. But all the type 3 will be more type 1 or more type 2. So try to figure out with the other questions. Okay? Then, when did you have your first menses? Were you 11 years old early? Then you're probably type 1. Or at the opposite, 14 years old or later, then you're probably type 2. Okay? And then, your best time, when you feel the most powerful. Is it in the middle of your cycle? Or at the opposite, then you type 1, or at the beginning or at the end of your cycle. Try it out. Sometimes never, I feel. Okay, so then you're type nowhere. And please sleep better, eat better, and we'll talk about something else afterwards. And come back to me at the end of the session. Okay, so the winner is, no, there's no winner. So these are the main specificities.
So what do you mean with cycle?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, if one name, one topic is not clear, just please ask that we everybody can follow. So if you, after this question, you're type 1 or more type 1, then you tolerate a high level of estrogen. We'll see afterwards what it means for your physical activity. If you're type 2, at the opposite, you're better when the level of estrogen is really low. If you're type 3, so in between, but you have a tendency, sometimes more 1 or sometimes more 2. If you're menopause and you were type 1, that can be tough for you because the drop of hormones between what you like, high level of estrogen, and what you have is dramatic. So maybe you need help. Nutrition is a big, big help, but it's a completely another topic. We could spend all night long on this. But you may need help as well with supplementation or something. And if your menopause form 2 could be better, and you can still have power. And we will talk about testosterone. I know it's a male hormone, but it's important as well for girls, because testosterone helps for building muscle. And is important as well for entertaining the bone mass and everything. Okay, so quick reminder. You know that or not? I guess yes.
No.
Or not?
No. No, we don't know.
So you feel, but you don't know, maybe. Okay, so it's done for 20 days cycle because it's the 28 days, sorry, because that's the average. But you can have 24 or 33 days cycle. No matter, we will divide it in several parts. So as you can see, there's a peak of estrogen, the meantime, and estrogen is more here. Progesterone is more here. We have a second peak of estrogen, but lower. And we have this peak of testosterone here. So there are many other hormones, but tonight we will just talk about estrogen and testosterone most of the time. Okay, so let's see the adaptations we can do. First time, the menses. If you're type 1 or type 2, maybe your worst day is day 1. And there's always something to do, there's always something to practice. You can do some soft activities, saying just a moment, and if you don't feel good, most of the time movement helps to feel better, even if it's your worst day. If you're type 2, at maybe day 2, day 3, day 4, because you feel good with the low level of estrogen, then you feel good. So even if you're still bleeding and you feel good, it's time to put strength in your training, to lift weights, to do your max. It can be a good time to push hard for type 2. In type 1, maybe not, because you will wait for the higher level of estrogen to train hard. You had a question?
Yeah, just to clarify, day 1 is the first day of bleeding.
Yeah, day 1 is first day of bleeding, yeah.
And if you're type 1?
If you're type 1, so maybe you will feel very bad because the level of estrogen is really low. And so you can do some soft activities, okay? But you can still do something. We will do afterwards how to adapt to make something soft with something hard. And to be able to practice every day. So if you're menopause, strength training is good as well. Cardio is good. I will more suggest a program of several weeks when you can do some variations. You can, instead of all having a routine and doing every week the same thing, then we can add some variation to be more effective.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
You said that we have to train every day.
Ideally, you can do something every day. I mean, if you have your personal training session on your day 1, don't skip it. Just be aware that it's not a good day, so you will not perform at your best. But if you have a good trainer, he may know something about that and he can adapt the activity. Okay. So of course you don't have to train every day, but to be able to train as often as you want, there's always a solution. Okay, second phase, follicular phase, so the estrogen is getting higher. So for type 1, it's starting to be good. So it's time to lift heavy. It's time to lift weights. It's time to go hard, to run fast, to swim fast, whatever you do, but do it hard. Type 2 is another power workout window. It's a good time because estrogen is at the limit. And you can do, for example, do high intensity cardio training, interval training. It's a good time to do it. For menopause ladies, why not strength training? I would like to fight against the legend that senior sport has to be soft. No. If you put intensity, if you put some strength, if you lift weight, if your body is good before, educate your body first, remember, then it will be very, very good for you at any kind of age. Lift weights, run fast. Don't listen to the old doctors who say, oh, go slow, go soft. There are much benefits in intensity.
When are you considered
Senior, let's say I'm close to, so let's say 50 plus. Well, that could be a good mark for women. Okay, middle of the year cycle, ovulation. Why the warning? Because with the peak of estrogen, we have also a peak of relaxin. Do you know that? The relaxin is the hormone who helps your pelvis and your hips to be able to go wider to have a baby. But even if you're not pregnant, you have a relaxin peak at the middle of the cycle. That's why we have to be very, very careful on unstable exercises like BOSU or if you had a party last night and you're in the middle of your cycle, so you are a little bit dehydrated, don't do stupid things like squash competition or something like with much change of direction or disbalance, or don't go on a ski race. It can be because statistically, middle of the cycle, ovulation is when the injuries occurs most of the time. That's a fact. But we have the peak of testosterone at the same time, so it's time to build muscle. Testosterone help to build muscle. So you can lift weights with a proper technique, not the max weight, of course, but you can always do something very effective. If you're type 1, type 2 as well, so that's really the muscle time. And menopause, you've done some strength training the week before, why not having a softer one with agility, with exercise with balance and mobility and so on. So far so good? We're in the middle, let's go. Okay, now the luteal phase, which is the third one, so after the peak of estrogen. So estrogen is getting lower until the end of this phase, which is getting higher again. So if you're type 1, type 2, type 3, just feel how you are, and it's the second window for high intensity for type 1, and more for long moderate cardio for type 2, because the level of estrogen is still high at the end of this time, so maybe do it soft, but you can do something. Coordination, balance, everything is good. And why not? We have heat here and the heat, high intensity here as well. So when you run, when you do some cardio exercise, the big impact is when you put some intensity for a short time. It's not about doing some high intensity, 5 or 6 minutes. 1 minute at your max can be good, or 3 times 20 seconds, or 2 times 30 seconds, for example, at any kind of age. If your heart is not suffering from the severe disease, you can push your heart really hard if it's a short time, less or 1 minute max. Okay? Already forgot. This is fat burning time. Third part of your cycle, after ovulation and before PMS. This is where your body, your female body, is burning the biggest amount of fat. So go with it. If you want to lose weight, it's time. Okay, then we have the PMS phase. So at the end, just before the menses, it's all about symptoms. If you have bad symptoms, then of course take it easy. But again, movement helps. So you can do something soft to help. You can do yoga, you can do soft cardio, going for a walk, swim a bit, no problem. For type 2, can be a second window of power because estrogen is low again. And what would I say? Yeah, don't stress yourself too much. Maybe if you're type 1, you're suffering from PMS, don't go into a new class of step with much coordination. You will be lost into you will be mad with no use. So listen to your body, listen to your mind, take it easy, and do something cool. And same thing for menopause, you can take a break. We've done some high intensity the week before. Take a break and take it easy and recover. What I would always say to my athletes or my clients as a fitness trainer or as a strength and conditioning coach is recover is part of the training. So even if I have a high-level athlete nowadays, she's preparing the next Winter Olympic Games, and she has a break of 1 day. She's training twice a day, but once in a week, break. So it could be 1 week in a month, break, recover. Recover is part of the training. Recover is different than an activity. Okay, don't do only recovers. Recover makes sense if you've done something hard before. Okay, so we've